But let's move in 11 through 20 in our powered forward rankings. You're probably coming to this because of the man in the thumbnail, which is Zion Williamson. So, Ricky, let's not keep him waiting.
All right.
And let's give our rankings 11 through 20. You start it off.
Well, you're going to have to wait to hear Zion's name with my rankings because he's in the top 10 spoiler. Ooh. But starting out at number 20, we talked about him in the last segment, but for me, he's the only one that made the top 20 is Rocco of the T-Wolves. Then at 19, Jason Tatum. Then at 18, K Love. 17, Aaron Gordon. 16, Al Horford. 15, John Collins. 14, Bojan Bogdanovic. Number 13, Dilo Gallinari. Number 12, Domantas Sabonis. And then at number 11, Draymond Green.
Did you say Danilo
Gallinari.
He did not say Danilo.
You did not say that end. Dave, give us
Danilo.
Give us your 11
At
through
number
20.
20, I've got Domantas Sabonis. At number 19, it's Aaron Gordon. At 18, it's Jaren Jackson Jr. At 17, Danilo Gallinari. 16, Jason Tatum. 15, John Collins. 14 is Kevin Love. 13, Al Horford. 12, Zion Williamson. And at 11, it's Draymond Green.
All right, my 11 through 20. At 20, Robert Covington. At 19, Marvin Bagley. At 18, Aaron Gordon. At 17, John Collins. At 16, Jaren Jackson Jr. plays defense. 15, Domantas Sabonis. 14, Jason Tatum. At 13, Zion Williamson. At 12, Al Horford. And at 11, Julius Randle. And for our cumulative ratings, that brings us to at 20, Jaren Jackson Jr. for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Nice.
How the hell did he end up at 20? Did we do math wrong? Oh, Ricky, you had him at 9. Okay, that's where it was. Just trying to think about it in my head because Dave and I had him high, and then I realized you had him all the way down there. Then at 19, we have Aaron Gordon. Then at 18, we have Danilo Gallinari. And at 17, we have Kevin Love. Kevin Love, Danilo Gallinari, and Aaron Gordon all tied for 39 points. So you could really flip those guys in any single way. We think they're pretty much equal. At 16, we have Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. At 15, we have John Collins of the Atlanta Hawks. At 14, we have Domantas Sabonis. At 13, we have Al Horford of the Philadelphia 76ers. And at 12, we have Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. And at 11, we have a guy who's way too high, Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans.
Easy too high, though? Easy?
Well, that's where we're starting. And absolutely, Ricky, he has not played an NBA game. Al Horford is an NBA All-Star. Draymond Green is a 3-time NBA champion and a Defensive Player of the Year. Zion Williamson has not laced up the sneakers to play an NBA game yet. He is absolutely way too fucking high. If you want to put him above Jason Tatum, that's fine. I get it. People want to shit on Jason Tatum, and I understand that he had a worse season than his rookie year. I get it. If you want to put him above Domantas Sabonis, that makes sense. Zion has a more well-rounded offensive game than Sabonis, and they probably play similar defense, so I understand that. And Zion's athleticism is better than Domantas Sabonis. Jaren Jackson Jr., sure, he might be on a worse team, and we see the great guards that they have, J.J. Redick, Drew Holiday, and Lonzo Ball to feed Zion Williamson the ball. It might be easier for Zion to feast than it is Jaren Jackson Jr. John Collins can't play defense, so I totally understand that if you're just looking at those two guys, Zion's got that offensive game, so does John Collins. Zion plays better defense. Boom. Marvin Bagley, we already talked about his lack of ability to rebound. He's kind of very slim. They have a lot of veterans. He might even get a playing time. And if he's not getting that playing time, all right, you might not put him above him. Aaron Gordon's a guy that, is a 3 that plays a 4 or a 4 that plays a 3. He's not a guy that's well-rounded. But Jesus Christ, Al Horford is a goddamn all-star. He's going to be playing on probably the best team in the Eastern Conference. And Draymond Green is Draymond Green. He is the guy that made this whole shit up. The reason that we have these many fucking 3s playing 4s and these 5s playing 4s is because of Draymond Green. This guy is a complete... he changed basketball for the way that he played defense at the 4. He is one of the best defenders, and I get it. He can't shoot. But outside of that, he does everything for the Golden State Warriors. And this Golden State Warriors team has been the best team for the past 5 years in the NBA. So yes, it is ridiculous to put Draymond Green or Zion Williamson in the top 10. He has not put a fucking floor on an NBA court yet. Is a floor on an NBA court yet?
I've just got one thing to say.
I go on a rant and I fuck it up.
And
right?
Zion.
Go Bears.
Zion will agree with this because me and Zion were on the same wavelength here. So to everything you just said, these guys are all-stars and they've paved their way and they're this and they're that, and it just turned into that after a while. Here's my response, and me thinking as Zion, talking as Zion, is you're strong. but with the snap of my finger, you'd cease to exist. And that's what's going to happen this year. Xanos is going to come in. He's going to snap all these guys away. We're gonna see him play. What Dave and I saw at Summer League, and I know what you're thinking, Ricky, it was Summer League. But seeing his dominance in the little bit that we saw at Summer League, he's going to come in, he's going to light the world on fire, set the league ablaze to where people are like, we are crowning the next best thing, the next greatest player
What, he
in our
played 15
league.
minutes before he got injured?
Well, no, he didn't.
No. He
It
just
was-
banged a knee and then he got injured
No,
and then
it
he couldn't
was-
play.
it
And
was-
that's going to be the story. He's going to play 50 games.
No,
Oh my
it was
God.
the Pelicans being safe with him. Could he have played? Probably, but the Pelicans were like, hey, we're not going to be stupid here. You don't have to play this game, this meaningless Summer League game. But what we did see in that time gave me enough evidence that he is going to be great, even with the NBA All-Stars that you list
beat
off.
up on Kevin Knox. What do you fucking do?
He
Guy
stole
was like
candy
last
from a
in our
baby.
small forwards.
in front of us. It was incredible. He literally ripped the ball out of Kevin Knox's little baby arms and just dunked in his face. And
Kevin Knox.
the shock and awe on his face of like, what is happening to me? Like, he was so confused. It was a moment that I will never forget in my life. Unfortunately,
Yeah, give us some actual takes here.
Zion
just
also
screaming at each other.
weighed like me plus you together going into Summer League. Like, that man was out of shape, not conditioned at all, and just looked like he was huffing it. You know, hands on his hips, like at the first free throw. Like, it was bad. So the guy's got a condition. He's got time, thankfully. He's got a little bit of time. He can get his cardio back up to where it needs to be. But like, it was like Charles Barkley round mound to rebound kind of. It was getting a little sketchy. A little sketchy during that Summer League session. Can he be amazing? Yes. Will he be amazing? I sure hope so. I hope everything is like up to billing. Like, here's the thing. He has a skill set to be Draymond Green with an offensive game.
100%. And
The big thing is, will he be in a position to do that this year on that exciting Pelicans team with as much potential as any other team in the league can have? Because you have basically the entire, Lakers, last 3 draft classes, minus Kuzma, and Drew Holiday, which is awesome. And Jackson Hayes, who looked like a GD monster who just murdered someone on the Bulls during a game in
Still
Summer
Summer
League.
League.
Still Summer League. Still.
That man had a family, though.
It was amazing. And that's the reason, like, just talking about Zion, you get excited. And there hasn't been a player like that for years. And I understand why Ricky has him so highly rated, because you want to overlook the flaws in his game because of the impact plays. In various occasions I've talked about how, like, 2 points doesn't mean 2 points at the end of the day. Not all shots are equal. Like, when Zion just yams it on someone, like, that's a game changer. That gets the entire team up. That gets the entire arena up. When he blocks someone taking a 3 because he took off in the paint to swat their shot away, like, your mind just explodes. Like, that's the kind of impact that Zion Williamson has on the game. And I've got him at 12 here, and I'm just shaking my hands being like, I understand Al Horford is Al Horford, exactly what you said. He's been one of the best defenders in the NBA for God knows how long. He's a consistent player. He's a great passer from the low post. He can run the high pick and roll and even pass out of there. He can score from anywhere on the court. And I'm like, but Zion Williamson.
No, I mean, I get it. And here, I'll get out of Skip Bayless mode, because that was a complete Skip Bayless rant right there. And Ricky was doing his best Stephen A, and I appreciate coming up for it, Ricky. I love a battle. I just look it back to last year, right? Last year, my guy coming out of the draft was Luka Doncic, right? This guy had professional experience. He was absolutely tailor-made for the NBA, could step in, and I put him at 15.
Yep.
Right? I put him at a reasonable
He's the
effort.
most pro-ready player we've ever seen.
And now he's at 3, right? I like when guys needed to prove themselves, all right? And Zion hasn't proven himself, where Draymond Green has, Al Horford has. And I think the question marks can be, brought up about his conditioning. Can he shoot from the outside? And if he's going up against these high-level guys, like if he's going up against Marvin Williams, he's going to drop 30. Like, he's that fucking good. That's why he is as high as I have him.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to make sure I get this right, because I have to scroll over. I have him still at 13. That's above Jason Tatum. Like, Jason Tatum was supposed to be God's given gift after his rookie year.
Well, he's still only 7 years old. Wait until he hits his prime.
I know, but like when Zion's going up against tailor-made real NBA players, what can he actually do? If he's going up against an Anthony Davis, he's going up against Kawhi Leonard, if he's going up against a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
How is he going to hold his own?
Exactly. And I don't know if he's there yet because of his conditioning, because of his lack of an outside shot. We look at the guys that are able to beat those guys, and it's guys that are on that level. It's just those guys. It's the LeBron Jameses. It's the Paul Georges. It's the Jimmy Butlers. Like it's the Giannis Antetokounmpo beating Kawhi Leonards. Those are the guys that can beat those players. And we don't know if Zion's there yet. And I think those should be in territories that should be untouched, right? I don't think they should be put in the same range as LaMarcus Aldridge, who's been a multiple-time All-Star. Because, LaMarcus has gone out and proven it every single year for the past, 14 years now? I think he was drafted in 2005. I mean, these guys have come out there and put their work in, and I think Zion needs to do that. And I'm not saying that this kid's not talented. For sure, he's definitely not. But let's see what he does before he puts on, what he can do before he puts on an NBA jersey, before we put him in the top 10, right?
So here's something I thought about this coming into this about Zion because of where I was going to have him. Obviously, top 10, not going to spoil where. I want to do a little experiment of when LeBron came into the league. He got drafted in 2003. It was the 03-04 season. And obviously, we weren't doing the podcast back then, obviously. But let's say we were, and we were doing those rankings, and LeBron's coming in. I'm going to throw out some small forward names, and you tell me, who would you have above, who would you have higher? The name I'm going to say, or a LeBron James who has not played not even a college game, hasn't played an NBA game. The first one, the guy who that 2003-04 season was the most points per game of a small forward, somebody drafted in the same class as LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, who played college. Would you put Anthony or LeBron James higher coming into that 03-04 season?
If so they're rookie years.
Yes. So coming into the rookie year.
LeBron, because LeBron was picked first.
Okay.
LeBron was the best prospect since, anybody. Really.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the chosen one.
I'm assuming you're the same, Dave.
No, I'm going to take Melo.
Okay.
Hoodie Melo, you just can't go wrong there.
Who's even Hoodie Melo?
I know. I'm being sarcastic because it's a dumb fucking question.
What about Richard Jefferson, who was starting 82 games for the New Jersey Nets that year? We also have Latrell Sprewell. You've got guys like
Ricky,
Bruce Brown and Peja Stojakovic, who actually led the entire league.
I'm going to cut you off there because none of those guys are top 10 players, and we're not top 10 players at that time. Where Paul George, or where Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, these are guys that are MVP type players. Peja Stojakovic, as much as I love him, was not an MVP player. Bruce Brown was the fourth best player on the San Antonio Spurs.
And that's a good argument. The part of and we'd have to go back and see how stacked was that small forward class or starters compared to what we got, because we've already talked about how this power forwards rankings of the 30 is stacked.
Best position, not even close.
With Zion, I think he is the one absolute. If you're going to take one player that the rookie kind of, hasn't shown me anything, can just be demolished with, it is Zion, because of what, we don't know. We don't know what to expect from him this year. I honestly do not know what to expect from him.
But I disagree with that. It's Luka. If you have to throw everything out, it's Luka, because he played up against professional players. He played up against those guys. Zion was way more athletic than everybody else. And Zion still might be more athletic than these guys, but the gap is much more closer than it was. It's much more closer than it was in college. So it's going to be harder for him to do those things. It's going to be harder for him to be how efficient he was. I think he had a true shooting percentage of 70 in college. It wasn't even fair what he was doing in college next to those guys. And not even all those guys are in the NBA right now. These guys have honed their crafts and become, guys that have played so many games and putting effort, and have seen every single player from LeBron James to Kawhi Leonard to Paul George go out there and put their best effort against them. These guys are veterans. They're hardened. They've been seasoned. These guys know how to slow down a hot shot young kid. And yes, he is very unique. And yes, Zion's going to beat them every now and then. Without a doubt. He's 6'7". He's a fucking bowling ball out there. Jesus Christ. But I don't think you can give him that high of a ranking yet, because he's not, even if you want to compare him to LeBron James, he's the best since LeBron James, and he's not even better than LeBron James. LeBron was a better prospect than Zion was, and you're not debating that. So you already have to temper the expectations down from what that was. And LeBron wasn't the best player his rookie year. He wasn't the best player in the NBA his rookie year. Like, he still wasn't the guy. He almost put up 20. Like, he had a fantastic year, and we could obviously tell that this kid was absolutely legit.
He's in the same company as, the elite Tyreek Evans and Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Jordan, too.
The 25-5. Yeah.
But, I mean, those guys had to go out and prove themselves. And LeBron clearly went out and proved himself. And I think all that's we're asking for Zion. Because what if he isn't conditioned enough to do it every single night? What if they overuse him and he has to take games off? What if he does bang a knee and we just
seriously,
see
the
like,
way
him
that
slow
man
down?
flies through the air and lands, like, I'm sorry, you need shock absorbers on those fucking knees. Like, he's gonna be wearing braces.
You also
and
need like steel-toed shoes that he doesn't rip out of him.
That's it.
And I love to bet, right? I love to make stupid bets. Oh, LeBron's not going to LA. You said
like
that Andrew Luck's. Yeah, you said Andrew Luck's going to go to the XFL. That's why he's retiring.
$100?
Yeah, I'll bet you $100 because he's fucking not. Like, the Colts would sue the shit out of the XFL if that happened.
I would not be shocked though if it happened.
I would be absolutely shocked because the NFL will do everything in their fucking power to not let him go over there. If he goes over as like a guy to work in the front office with his dad, that totally makes sense. Smart guy, but I don't think he's playing football again. If he does, the Colts will sue their fucking asses because it's the same opportunity, it's the same sport. There's no reason why he should not be playing for them
Carson
because he
Palmer
was under contract.
situation, but I know different podcast.
Yeah, different podcast, boys. Different
because he was
podcast.
on the Bengals and was like, "Fuck it, if you don't trade me, I'll just retire." And then he got
but he wasn't going to go play he wasn't going to go play football in a different league.
Oh, he was just going to wait
retire.
it out. He was just going to wait it out and then play with them.
Gentlemen,
but here's,
back to the line. Here's the hand.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to bet that Zion's not going to be top 5 next year. I will not make that bet because it'd be a stupid bet. And I make stupid bets.
That
right?
is what you do.
So,
you're known for it.
So
you painted your face.
Can Zion
Lost his car.
Can Zion Williamson be in the top 5 next year? Yeah, absolutely. But right now, I just feel that he needs to prove it before he is in that era, in that breadth of MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, this god of a basketball
basically,
player.
he was the
Kawhi Leonard.
We're waiting for the next guy was Anthony Davis.
Yeah, and Kawhi Leonard, the guy who just won Toronto their first championship.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not going to put him in that.
How high do you think you're rating him next year or ranking him next year?
I think he's top 10 next year.
There's a chance he'll be top 10.
Yeah.
My question is, how
he's healthy.
How
a
crazy?
chance.
Yeah. How good do you think of a better rookie season than Luka Doncic and Trae Young? We had 2 amazing performances in the last year. Trae Young, one of the best floor generals we've seen come out in a decade. I mean, easily. This man has court vision like very few people before him. Taking shots from mid court, and people have to guard him at the logo. Meanwhile, you got Luka Doncic, we talked about already, one of the most pro-ready players in NBA history to hit the league.
Trey was 8 and Luka was 3 for their respective positionings, and I mean I think that's fair. And if he jumps in the top 10 like those guys did, I wouldn't be shocked.
Do you think he'll have a better rookie year than either one of them, though?
I forget what I said. I think I said 20 for him, but I think I have to take that down because I think that was just 20 in general for a rookie. Because he's going to be playing with Drew Holiday, he's going to be playing with JJ Redick, Derek Favors,
Brandon Ingram,
Lonzo.
Yeah, I know. I have similar.
So I don't know if he's going to be able to put up 20 just because there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yep.
I would probably say 18. There's not that many good rebounders on that team.
It's true.
Favors.
Jackson Hayes is not a great rebounder. He was not known for his ability to rebound, so there's a chance he can pull down a lot.
18, 12, and 3.
Ooh.
I mean, he's going to be good. But is Kristaps not going to put up 18, 12, and 3? Like, so it's like, where is he going to be put? I think he's top 10, but I don't know if he's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be beating these guys that are, top 6, top 5. He might be able to beat out, LaMarcus in my mind, but that's also just because LaMarcus is getting older. So I think he could probably put up 16 to 18, and then probably like
Ricky. Let's hear your
9 to 12
line, and then
boards.
I've got some Noah finish it off on Zion.
I'm gonna be a little bold, and I'm gonna add blocks and steals in there too. So he's gonna average about 20 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. So I'll go more points, less rebounds. I'll go maybe as high as like 3.5 assists because Ye only had 2 in college, but he was the main scoring option. And like Sean said, like they've got other guys out there. I think he's also a guy that can average 2 steals to 2 blocks a game too. Like I know that's probably the ceiling, but like he's going to be a defensive monster for them too as a rookie. Because like you look at DeAndre Ayton, he had 16-10. Zion will have more than an assist, like almost he was at one point out, he'll have more than that. And he's going to have way more than 0.9 steals and blocks per game. So like that's where to me I'll go 20, 10, 3, and then 2 steals and blocks per game.
So just for some context, a player who game has been compared, or Zion's game has been compared to this guy, and Larry Johnson, his rookie year, he put up 19 points a game, 11 boards, 3.6 assists, 1 steal, and just over a half a block a game. And we know that Zion's
very
ability
different
and
NBA
affinity.
too.
True. He was also playing 37 minutes a game because, 1991.
Yeah.
Zion's affinity for being able to block and find those ways to just get a hand up and jump, 4 feet in the air out of nowhere. I expect him to have a little bit more defensive productivity than Larry Johnson, but 19, 11, and 3.5 is not far off from what either of the things that you guys said.
Yeah.
And I think that's about the right expectation to have for someone like Zion this year.
2 steals and 2 blocks a game is too much.
I agree. That's asking on defensive player of the year numbers.
Yeah, even the guy that we were talking about, Rocco, Rocco wasn't doing that stuff, and Rocco was literally the only player top 10 in both steals and blocks.
Yep.
Can he get a steal a game and
I can submit like 1.1
blocks?
and 1.4. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. But I don't think
two would be insane.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, we'll definitely have to see what happens. This has been a 20-minute segment on Zion, so let's move away from it. Obviously, let us know your thoughts on Zion down in the comments below. Do we want to go young or do we want to go older?
I want to go with Draymond.
You want to go with Draymond?
Because he is one, to me, where coming in, I kind of felt bad having him at 11 because it's like, I like Draymond. I think he's a good player. You look at his stats last year and you almost be like, yeah, well, Kevin Durant was on that team. And without Clay being there this year, or for most of this year, what's your expectation with Draymond? Because if he goes back to old Draymond, it was like he was a top 10 power forward in our rankings.
Like number 4 or 5.
But it was almost hard to rank him because I wanted to put him in the top 10, but I almost couldn't put him in the top 10.
It's hard to put a power forward who averages 10, 11 points a game.
7 points per
game. 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds. But also, 7 or 6 assists a game, over a steal a game, over a block a game. He is, a very unique skill set on the court, and that allows him to stand out in very different ways. Because normally when you look at these, it's just like, well, who scores the most points? Who's the best offensive player? That guy. Draymond changes all of that because he's like, yeah, F just scoring. I'm going to do everything for your team. He's the guy who can get the quadruple double, or no, the 5x5.
Yeah.
He's the guy who can do it all for your team. The problem is like you said, he didn't have the ability to stand out scoring because you had Kevin Durant, one of the most, if not the most gifted scorer of all time.
You had him the lowest last year at 6. I had him the highest at 2. Sean was in the middle at 3.
Yeah, I still hate him because he kicked a man in the ball several times.
But
I hold grudges.
Do you know what we're seeing?
Yep.
You know what we're seeing this offseason?
What's that?
For Draymond Green?
What's that?
Workout picks. He's slim.
Yeah.
He's slim.
Are you expecting
we're getting slim Draymond. Come on. What was the biggest
Just like
thing?
we had Slim K Love in the past. Now we got Slim Draymond.
We got Slim Ja Okafor too.
I mean, shit. If we're saying we're getting Slim Dre, he might be better offensively, might be quicker out there, might be up in his defensive game. Maybe he won't be able to guard his 5s as much as he used to, but they got centers now, right? So I mean, maybe he can go guard 3s and 4s a little bit better. I still think of him as one of those elite defenders, and yes,
absolutely.
He's not the greatest shooter, and we understand that his offensive numbers have gone down, but he's gonna also be relied on more. It's him and Steph out there. So I mean, and D'Lo, but I mean,
ice in the veins.
But from the team, it's him and Steph, and I think that we're gonna probably see him. I don't know if he'll revitalize his 3-point shooting. But I do think that he'll be more efficient and he'll get more looks, and he might go back up to getting 10 shots a game, where he was up down to 6 last year, and he wasn't getting 6, because he's a bad scorer or anything like that. It's just because he was playing with Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Yeah, who would you rather taking the shots?
Exactly. So I mean, I think that we can still see Draymond, be efficient offensively, not turn the ball over, move the ball around efficiently, and score some buckets when needed. And I think his defense is going to go up because he'll have more stamina. I really think that Draymond is going to be. I think he's best used when he's used a lot.
Do we expect breakout year Draymond Green?
Not breakout year, because I think he's at best he's going to go back to where he was.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he's all the way down to like a stat line of like 7 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists, steal and a half, and just over a block a game. Like, could you see him getting back to like
2016?
Yeah, those numbers
I
from
would say
2015, 16, or 16, 17, where he's got 10 points a game or
16,
14
17.
points a game.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back up to 14. That's statistically his best career.
I think he can.
But
I
even
don't know
then,
about 9 rebounds, but like he's gonna be
also
able.
38% from the three.
The shooting percentage is not going to be there. I'll give you that. Like he's definitely fallen off there because of his defensive end and expectations. But I think scoring wise, he's going to be in that 12 to 15 range. They just need someone to score for them. And look, they lost Quinn Cook, who I know a lot of people are like, it's your backup point guard, and he wasn't even that. Like Quinn Cook just came off the bench and scored for you. Like he was someone who actually could shoot. He could run that offense. Could pass well enough.
And he didn't have the pressure because it's like, oh, I've got Steph ahead
Exactly.
of me.
So when you lose a backup scorer like that, after already losing Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson for this year, like you need to have someone who can step up and score for you. When you go down that Golden State depth chart, you're like, all right, so D'Lo's Steph, and then I guess Draymond's going to score a bunch.
Yeah.
That's my thought, at least.
I mean, you would expect Steph to be near 25. D'Lo's probably going to be at 20. And then, Dre at 10.
I would say like 12. Between 12
that's
to
what
14.
I said 12 to 15 range is my expectation. I think that he's probably going to get up. Doubling the points from last year is pretty big breakout.
I'm excited, and I think people are sleeping on him just because of what he's done with the Golden State Warriors of the past 2 years, but also that was with KD, Klay Thompson,
and
been
stuff. Quiet by just mouthing off to every single person who will look in his direction.
Let's move on, just so we can fit in as many guys as possible. Let's settle some of these tiebreakers. One of them was K-Love, Danilo, and Aaron Gordon. We all had one of them higher than another. Ricky, you had Danilo Gallinari the highest at 13. Dave, you had Kevin Love the highest at 14, and I had Aaron Gordon the highest out of those three at 18. Make your case quick for Kevin Love. Why should be the highest out of those three?
Kevin Love's one of the best big scorers in the league. He's volume 3-point shooting. He's able to still get it done on the inside. He's a great rebounder for a power forward. Still one of the best in the game. And he locked down Steph for a ring. I'm just saying. What more do you need to do?
I love K-Love, right?
He went from the fat K-Love days to skinny K-Love days to the blame K-Love days, and now you're in the
blame K-Love.
And now you're in the K-Love got paid, so now it's like, all right,
you got to trade him.
Now you got to trade him.
The thing with K-Love, and I love K-Love too. Don't get me wrong.
You're the lookalike, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, good looking dude. K-Love was at 22 for me. He was second ranked. I love him, but the biggest thing is just you look at what he's been able to do on the court, and it's just he hasn't been healthy.
Yeah,
he hasn't played 70 games in the past 3 years. He's been under that mark for 3 straight years. And I think another thing too is he's got 2 young guards that aren't really facilitators, and I don't know what his role is exactly on this team. And I don't think he fits with his Cleveland team. And even if he does, I don't think he will be making an impact for Cleveland. I think he'll be making an impact on a different team. So if we're ranking him as Cleveland's starting power forward, I'm not too high on him because I don't think he's going to fit well.
I think he's going to get his touches, though. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
but even then, what's his impact? Like, is anyone going to be like, wow, look at the year that K-Love's going to have? He's an MVP type player.
No.
Like,
he's not going to carry a young team to anything. I'll give you that. He's not that K-Love. He's not going to bring a team to almost a playoff team.
That's my thing is I just don't think
he'll could in the West, so why would he expect it in the East?
I don't think he'll be impactful on Cleveland. That was one thing that I was looking at these things. It's like, who are the guys that are going to be making the biggest impact for their teams? And that's why Al Horford, who a guy that is old and isn't the same Al Horford that he was, is higher than a guy like K-Love for me because he's going to make an impact for that Philadelphia 76ers team just alone by playing next to Joel Embiid and taking pressure off of him.
But we're not talking Al Horford. You're talking about Aaron Gordon on your side, right?
Yeah, but Aaron Gordon, the reason why he's higher is because he's on a playoff team. He's going to be producing for that team, the Orlando Magic. He's going to be moving the ball around. One of the best, one of the better players at this position when it comes to just strictly assist numbers. He's a guy that can move the ball around. He keeps that offense moving for the Orlando Magic, getting it around the horn, getting it to Isaac, getting it to Vucevic, and scoring himself. I mean, I think that he is going to be a guy that he isn't anything that's spectacular, but he is a guy that doesn't turn the ball over a ton. He is efficient, and he's able to go out there and help a team win games. And again, he is effective for a playoff team, and that's why when you're comparing him to K-Love, who's probably not going to be on a playoff team, and Danilo Gallinari, who's going to be not on a playoff team as well, Aaron Gordon's going to have the biggest impact. That's why I have him higher.
Yeah, but I don't really, when I do these rankings, it doesn't matter if you're a playoff team or not. We're going player v. player, and the thing that helps Danilo is not only did he eat on a playoff team last year, he's going to eat this year too. Like, he had 19 points. I'd be shocked if he was under 21 points, 22 points per game. And the reason why is Chris Paul, Shea, Danilo. Give me another guy who's going to be like Steven Adams, but I don't think Steven Adams is going to be a top 3 scoring option. Like, it's going to be Chris Paul, like you said before the podcast. Chris Paul will probably be one. Schroeder in the second unit will be interesting. Hamadou also in the second unit will be interesting. But it's like this team, Sean's right, not going to be playing for much at all. No. So it's just going to be like Danilo's going to be jacking up shots, and he's going to get his. And it's just going to be, what else do we see around him? How much does Chris Paul have? Does Chris Paul get traded? What do we see from Shea? What do we see from the young guys like Baisley, Hamadou? You also have Tiefer on this team where it's like, you know what? I think he's just going to eat because he's going to get the opportunities to do so.
But Ricky, with that, like, I understand the wanting to eat and all that stuff, but I mean, when we're talking about who do you want for a playoff run,
says you.
Who do we want for a playoff run? Like, I think you have to go Aaron Gordon over Danilo Gallinari because he gives you more of a two-way offense. And you look at what they both did in the playoffs. You look at Aaron Gordon going up against the Raptors and Gallinari going up against the Warriors. Aaron Gordon was more efficient, and Aaron Gordon was better defensively. You look at the offensive rating and defensive ratings. Gallinari had an offensive rating of 99 and a defensive rating of 121, and shooting splits of 35.1 and 30% from the field and from three. And Aaron Gordon was 46.8 and 40% from the field and from three, with an offensive rating of 102 and 111. Like,
yeah, but look who's guarding them.
None of those are great.
That's the thing, is the level of competition in those series were not even.
You look at Danilo
I understand,
through the whole
but still, Aaron Gordon going up against the NBA champions still was better than Danilo Gallinari.
Going up against
the
arguably
NBA
the NBA champions
before.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I'm sorry. Who am I more afraid of guarding me? Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, or
Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam? And, like, I understand, like, it's pretty even. Like, you have
I would
Kawhi Leonard's a better defender than Kevin Durant, and we just ranked Pascal Siakam over Draymond Green. So I understand that Draymond Green's a better defender than Pascal Siakam, but it wasn't like he was going up against slouches here. Yeah. Like, they're both going up against great guys. Aaron Gordon had a better playoff series.
But I mean,
I would rather have him on a playoff team.
Also, throughout the whole work of last year, like, Danilo was shooting about one more shot from three per game than Gordon, and he was shooting 43% last year.
That's shooting splits are incredible.
Gordon was still more efficient from three in the playoffs when it mattered. He was more effective. If I'm saying who would I want for a team, I would take Aaron Gordon.
And that to me is, I'm looking in that case over the entire season. Yeah. I'm not just going to focus in on the playoffs because it,
the guy with an
benefits my
rating
argument.
of 125 during the regular season, Danilo Gallinari, like, he was just money. And that's the thing. You have to admit, like, that weird 3-guard lineup for the Clippers worked in his favor. When he came back, he was just like, look, I'm just going to stroke it from the outside like nobody's business.
But now him going to this team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, that's not the LA Clippers. It's not with the same coach of Doc Rivers.
There's a drop off.
I'm not saying that he's a bad player in any doubt, but on a playoff team, like if we're
the man's just a scorer though. Like that's
I would rather
his role
have him on my
team.
bench than my starting lineup. I would rather have him. I don't think he is that type of player to win me. Like if he's in my starting five, I don't think I'm winning a championship with Danilo Gallinari in my starting lineup. Aaron Gordon, I feel a little bit better. I'm not saying you automatically become NBA champions, but I do think it gives you a better chance at Danilo Gallinari in the playoffs because of his defense.
If we're bringing up the championship argument, Dave wins.
Yeah,
because his wins championship.
My man locked down the playoffs. I don't want to hear it.
All right, let's move
when
to
he was able to play because he wasn't hurt.
Let's move to some of these younger guys too. We talked a lot about Al Horford, and we talked a lot about him just during the offseason. We don't have to mention too much. Al Horford's Al Horford, and him playing next to Joel Embiid is just going to provide defense and the ability for Joel Embiid to get some rest because he can move over to the 5. Yep. Al Horford's phenomenal. He's just absolutely solid. But, I mean, there's nothing crazy special with him. He's not going to be, Defensive Player of the Year like Draymond Green, and he's not going to be, possibly this unique player like Zion Williamson. So he falls a little bit below.
He's like the 7th best offensive option on that starting lineup.
Exactly.
See what I did there.
But with these guys, Domantas Sabonis, who's in his fourth year, John Collins, who's in his third year, Jason Tatum, who's in his third year, and Jaren Jackson Jr., who's in his second year. Which guy's going to have the biggest impact out of these players?
It's got to be. See, here's the problem. I want to say it's Jaren Jackson Jr. because he's on a team which literally has nothing to prove. Like, they're just out there to ball this year. Like, all the J lineup is fantastic. I love Memphis. And, he had that thigh issue, deep thigh bruise last year. So I fully expect him to just be a stud this year, having a true a true
Point
team
guard?
to take over. No, because true point guard, yes, but like you had Mike Conley. You're not really upgrading there.
That's fair.
You're taking a step back. But you have a team that doesn't have a true scoring option. Like JV is fantastic, and he is a low post sponsor. But Jaren Jackson Jr. can struggle from the outside. He has good mid range. He has good low post game. He hits all three tiers, and he plays defense. Like he's a guy who should have a breakout year this year in my mind, because it's him and John Morant out there, and everything else is bonus. Whether it's Jandon Jark, whether you're going to get Josh Jackson, any one of the Jays will work for me. Hell, even Bruno, who I love so much.
Bruno.
Drayson Jalen.
Yeah, dirty player in Drayson Jalen.
Jay Drowder,
Yep.
who we forgot apparently for the small forwards.
No, I didn't forget him. I chose to ignore him because he shot like booty in the playoffs.
Jalen Drooks.
Yep.
Jonta Jonaby. Joanaby.
Juta Jantawabi. Yeah. Anyways.
This is embarrassing. Point is, he should be able to put up like 18 points a game, no problem. Like John Collins, I love because athletic hype beast, and the man offensively so gifted, but he's the worst defensive power
Then why'd
forward.
you put Jaren Jackson below John Collins?
Because he's going to be on a team where he's going to put up even stupider numbers. Like last year, he was
John Collins. That is.
Yeah, like John Collins had stupid numbers last year, and he's going to even have better numbers than that this year. That's a scary thing. Like his team got better, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s team got worse, but he might have a better opportunity.
Gotcha. Ricky,
And that's why for me it's John Collins. And the reason why is what we saw last year. Plus, I want to see with John Collins, it's also this whole team growing as a whole, because it's like I feel like John Collins and Trae Young are kind of like the defensive liabilities, and then it's like, what can the Red Mamba do defensively? What's DeAndre Hunter going to do for us defensively? What does Cam Reddish do for us defensively? Jabari Parker, oh wait, no, we paid him for offense. Bruno Fernando, or Fernandez as I like to call him. What is he going to do for us defensively, to where it's like with all these other guys, mainly Hunter, Herter, and Sprinkle and Cam Reddish, what is their defense going to mean for a John Collins, for like I'll use the starting lineup, DeAndre Hunter? All right, you're locking down your defense. Herter's locking down his defense. I don't have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have to be kind of like looked at as like, hey, we need your defense here, John. It's like, no. I've got those two, and I can focus more offensively, to where I'm asking the question. John Collins made a jump from 10 to 19 points per game, rookie to sophomore year. Does he break? I know it's only 1 point per game. Does he break the 20 points per game this year? And how high does that total go in year 3 for John Collins?
But even with that, you are still getting Trae Young, who's going to have to, probably take more of a scoring load. Mm-hmm. You have Kevin Herter, who's growing as well. You have Alan Crabb, who can be an outside shooter. Like, it's not just they're going to look solely to John Collins. They still added to that team. I'm shocked that none of you said Jason Tatum. This guy was God's given gift.
No, my question is Jason Tatum.
Why is he a question?
Just because of that Celtics team. Like, was last year
that Celtics team's got better.
No. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, was last year a fluke? Because the year that Jason Tatum, without Kyrie, brought him to a game within the finals, we all crowned him. And then last year happened. And I wonder, is it solely on Kyrie? Are they, obviously I think they're better off without Kyrie, but it's like, I don't know what to expect from the Celtics, because their entire confidence as a team, in my mind, got shook last year because of Kyrie Irving. That's why I look at them and I go, I don't know what to expect, because if I'm too high on them, I feel like I'm too high on the Celtics this year.
They got mouths to feed, man. Like, that's my problem. Is Ricky mentioned the playoffs, and that's where it started with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
His coming out party.
They both had massive coming out parties in the playoffs. They played up. They played fantastic in their early years, but it never translated to the following year. Mm-hmm. And yet again, we have a team where it's wing heavy. We joke about, the 2 through 4 of basically Jalen, Jason, and Gordon Hayward being interchangeable at times. And I just don't know how that depth is going to work for everybody's going to get theirs. And Jason could take that next step and tighten up his handles and learn to take, better quality shots, better quality looks. But at the same time, you got a worse point guard now with Kemba Walker. Might be better for the locker room. He's worse than he's just worse.
Well, if you're saying talent-wise, yes, but as a strict point guard, I don't know if he's exactly worse at that. Why is he worse?
Because he's worse.
You're saying
How is he
Kemba's worse than Kyrie?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying talent-wise.
Yep.
A better player is Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
But for an actual point guard, for moving the ball around and facilitating an offense, I don't think he's worse.
I don't know.
I think that
Kemba really
especially
hasn't had a whole lot of team around him to facilitate too, so I give the nudge to Kyrie Irving.
But they have very similar assist numbers, where you have Kyrie who's played with great players
Right.
before. I honestly think that Kemba Walker will be better for this system because he's more of a willing passer, and he doesn't need to bring up the ball every single time because he can play off ball, where I think Kyrie had that mindset of he needs to bring up the ball every single time, where that means the ball's going to be in the hands of Gordon Hayward or Jason Tatum more coming up.
Yeah.
I honestly think that this is a way better move for this Boston Celtics offense, getting Kemba Walker in and having the sole focus not be Kyrie Irving. Because, yes, Kyrie put up near 7 assists in this system last year, but we all look at what that did for this team. This team did not need Kyrie Irving bringing the ball up all the fucking time. They needed just a multitude of wings who can
But it's a system where
their-
everybody eats. That's the thing. But nobody gets their fill.
But
That's the problem.
But here's the thing: is if everyone's going to eat, that means that ball's moving, and that means that ball is not going to be stagnant like it was last year, and that means people are going to get more open looks. And what was he doing with open looks? Why are they not getting open looks?
I just you say open looks. I just don't know. I don't know that everybody's gonna get open looks.
I truly think you have Gordon Hayward who can pass the ball, Jaylen Brown who's a capable passer, you have Jason Tatum who's a capable passer as well, and you have Enes Kanter who's a fairly capable passer as well from the low post. And Kemba Walker, we already talked about, is a very similar passer to Kyrie Irving. I think that these guys are not selfish, and I think that this is going to be a offense that is fluid. And we look at what it was when that ball was fluid in Jason Tatum's rookie year. He was shooting 43% from three, and that was because those looks were open. I think he's a very capable scorer when he's getting open looks, and I think he's going to probably have more of a similar year efficiency-wise compared to his rookie year because that ball will be more moving. Because what was the biggest thing in that rookie year for him, why that ball was moving? Kyrie Irving was injured. There's no Kyrie on this team. I think this ball is going to be moving, and I think it's going to be fluid, and I think he's going to get better looks. I think his percentage is going to be more similar to what it was for his rookie year, and with the increased playing time and increased looks, I think we're probably looking at maybe a similar stat line where he's putting up 16 a game, but he's more efficient, and he's not hurting this team like he was last year.
That'd be nice, but have you seen the FIBA Boston Celtics lose to Australia? Like, they literally lost to Australia. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
But that was not every.
It was the Boston Celtics.
Gordon Hayward's not on that team.
Yeah, but you had 4 Boston Celtics on that team.
Marcus Smart's not in the starting lineup,
He did play in that game, though.
but he's not in the starting lineup.
I'm just saying.
It's
and he may be in the starting lineup
coached
come
by Brad
season start.
Stevens.
Pop? I'm just
Pop.
saying.
Oh yeah, Pop, the
That's
offensive genius who's taking the least
they
amount of
couldn't pass
threes.
the ball, though. Like, they literally, those guys did not pass the ball. That team had 5 assists going into halftime. I know
Dave,
it's
it's the
FIBA and
fucking
it's free
FIBA
qualifiers,
team, like,
but you lost to
Rui
fucking
Hachimura
Australia.
is Michael Jordan because of the fucking FIBA.
But you
basketball
lost to
because of
Australia.
Okay.
Jumping Joe Ingles, Andrew Bogut, like Patty Mills. Those are the guys.
That
who
doesn't. I don't give a shit about that.
Me.
That's not the actual Boston Celtics.
I know, but
they're
when you
not
have
wearing
those
green
guys
uniforms,
and they can't even play in a FIBA qualifier like warm-up game and look good. That's embarrassing.
Ricky, how much are you taking the FIBA games into
That's the first time
It's
we
not
lost
even
to
the fucking
Australia.
team, Dave.
I'm just saying, first time we actually lost to Australia. We were like 30
Okay, I don't care. It's FIBA.
I mean,
The
there's so
only
many
point
guys
of
that were
reference
like,
we
I don't
have
want to
recently.
play. How?
The
That's not
last
even our
point of
best
reference I had
team.
before that was them losing the playoffs, where Jason Tatum was a no-show. So I'm just gonna put it out there that the last 2 times I've now seen him, I'm disappointed,
and that's
some taste in my mouth.
And that's
I'm a man
why,
of
for
recency
me
bias.
personally, why I have it's a question about the whole Celtics, but like with Jason Tatum because he's the power forward, it's because of last year. I'm not going to use I personally don't use the FIBA, even though you can say, oh, they actually went up against competition that could be relative to what they see in the NBA,
Sure.
but like the NBA is the NBA, and it's the league that everyone
None
comes
of those guys
to.
are playing together.
For me,
4
it
of them are on the
was.
same team.
I'm talking about fucking Australia.
Yeah, which is embarrassing.
Here's the point. It's what Dave said after that. It's the great year in the playoffs, the coming out party, then last year being the down year to where I almost wonder it's like, so was that first year the real you? Was it you overachieving and you're someone in the middle of those 2 years? Or is you just overachieved and what we saw last year is what we expect? Like, I don't know which one of those is the answer for the Boston Celtics because Kemba, when it comes to Kemba Kyrie, if you're asking me who I would want on my team if I have a point guard and I want the better point guard on my team, I would probably pick Kyrie. But for the Boston Celtics, I think Kemba might be the better point guard for them because of what you said, Sean, where not only could he maybe be the better true point guard, he's not going to bring all that extra baggage that Kyrie brought, and he's not going to bring down the mentality of this team and kill their confidence.
Ricky, I think you make absolutely great points, but I am too heated to actually listen to him.
I'm trying to bring logic into it.
You gave me things that I agree with in saying that Kemba Walker's better for this Boston Celtics team. Dave, do you remember the score of the All-Star game last year?
I don't.
Oh, it was
because didn't happen
178-164. Team LeBron beat Team Giannis.
Yep.
Oh, but Team Giannis had Giannis and Chris Midd and Mike Budenholzer was their coach, but they lost. So that automatically means that they're not going to do shit this year because they lost
they didn't
a
win the
fucking
playoffs, that's for
exhibition
sure.
game.
I'm just saying they didn't win the playoffs. That's all.
They still went far.
Talking about the Celtics or the Bucks?
The Bucks.
Okay.
Went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
The reason why they didn't go to the finals is because they lost in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's recency bias. I told you. I openly admit my flaws. I see the 2 games. I remember the 2 games of the playoffs. He had a good series against Indy where he wasn't challenged defensively because you had to move Bojan around. Like, that's fine. He had a good series there. But then when he went up against Milwaukee and struggled mightily shooting the ball, and I mean mightily, this man was just absolutely awful from 3. Game 1, he was 0 of 1, 0 of 2, 0 of 5, then 1 of 5, then 1 of 3. Like, his first 2 games, 4 points, 5 points. Like, he was a ghost out there.
But also,
that
what were
team
those
got
looks
joked
like? I mean, was he getting open looks and missing wide open looks?
No, he was playing against someone who's good at basketball.
Exactly, but also that team wasn't
That's my
moving
point.
the ball around. But that team wasn't moving the ball around.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving was not effective that whole series. Kyrie Irving was the guy on that team. Kyrie Irving didn't do shit for that team. He is now off this team.
He did shit, but that was it. He did shit and brought the team down. He didn't do what we wanted him to do and bring up the team. He killed the confidence, basically shook them out. Like, this team was shook last year.
I mean, he had a couple good games.
No, I'm not talking points, Dave. I'm talking like
I bet you they lost
all
with the good games.
off the court stuff to where it's
He had
like
11 assists in the first game. He had 10 assists in the 4th game. Like, he moved the ball around. Like, I know he had a bad game in that series, but like, it was not solely on him. Was he jacking up way too many shots? Absolutely. Did he choke on his own ego? 110%. I will not defend Kyrie Irving on that fact because that was hilarious.
You also can't just look at a box score and be like, well, he had 10 assists, so that means he was passing the ball.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're saying, like,
what were
he
the looks
stopped
that
the
he
ball.
was getting at?
I'm just saying he wasn't stopping the ball. He wasn't, the ISO monster. He was taking shitty shots. Don't get me wrong. But the ball was still moving around. And that's my point. Is like,
but how many of those were in transition? How many were those easy baskets? How many of those were guys standing under the rim? How many of those were Al Horford pushing off?
Let me get my time machine and do show prep. Then. I mean, I can't do that.
But that's the thing. Is like we can't just look at a box score. And what I saw for a large majority of that season and a large majority of the playoffs, because they did only win 1 game against Milwaukee, he was stagnant with the ball. And I'm not just going to look at assist numbers and be like, well, that means the ball was moving.
No.
Devin Booker's the best point guard in the league because he had 8 assists.
No.
I mean, I don't know. Fuck.
Jason Tatum.
Why
good
is
at
he such a
basketball?
lightning rod?
Yes, but is he top 10 talent? No. Is he top 20 talent? Absolutely.
Why is he such a lightning rod though? Because this isn't the first. Like,
It's just controversial.
But what did he do?
Because people want to crown him because he showed up his rookie year in the playoffs.
Against LeBron?
Yeah, that was it. Like, when you go up against King, Jaylen Brown's defense on LeBron James put him into, like, the top 10 in some people's boards for shooting guards. And then it was like, okay, regular season Jaylen Brown, never mind. And then we went back to the playoffs again. I was like, okay, yeah, this kid's pretty good at basketball when it comes to crunch time.
Last year we had
The whole point is
you guys had him at 7, I had him at 6.
the whole problem is the fact this team does not run like other teams. This is everybody gets a little bit, and we win more games because we play more consistent rotations out there, and everybody gets a little bit. Everybody contributes on their own level. You're not expecting, they weren't dependent on the Kyrie Irving, like you said. When he was out there, that wasn't the best version of the Celtics because that was the Kyrie Irving-led Celtics. When you have just the Celtics, like everybody under one banner, then you got better performances all the way around, and everybody got theirs. And you know what? Nobody had a stunning stat line, night in, night out, but guys had their individual performances that were pretty good. Averages were down on average, but you won the games.
I compare them to probably the Eastern Conference Utah Jazz, and look at where we have what we think Bojan Bogdanovic is going to do. Right?
Yeah.
I think that of Jason Tatum. And I think it's probably more of a sexier name because Jason Tatum's, this guy from Duke, top 3 pick,
17 years old.
17 years old. But I do think that that's going to be his top this year. Is he's going to be similar to what Bojan's going to do in the Utah system. And also just to bring up what Ricky said, saying that we had him 7 last year in our rankings. That was for small forwards. So definitely not 1-to-1 because not all those same players were there, but we did have him top 10 for that position. Final thoughts. You want to talk about Sabonis? Maybe take off some of this pressure?
Whew. I love Sabonis. This kid coming out of college was basically like my hero for a little bit.
Got to see him live too.
It was pretty much because I got to see him live. If it had been someone else I saw live, same reaction. But it was just
Great day of games. We got to see the player you love and the player that Sean hated the most.
Georges Niang.
Fuck that guy. You have concerns though about how him and Turner are going to play in the lineup.
I mean they never really fit great together, skill set wise on the offensive end of the court. You don't have spacing, and like as much as they try to add a 3-point shot to each of their games, it's not great running those two big guys out there who don't have the athleticism. Miles Turner looked good at times, like really above average at times, should I say. But like Sabonis is one of those guys who looks like he's got all the skills, he's got all the tools in the bag. You know, he's not as good as his dad clearly, but he's still above average in a lot of categories. And you know, I think we joked about before the podcast. He's like a worse version of Marcus Aldridge. You know, he can play the 4, he can play the 5, he can get you a shit ton of rebounds, he can move the ball around, and he can score efficiently in the low post. And I think for him, it's just a situation of circumstances when he's not able to be a solid focus on the team. And this roster is turning over already. We've seen the additions. Victor Oladipo hopefully is going to be back healthy, but you've got enough new guys in there who are going to get theirs. And I think he's at a point where he's going to get paid. And the question is, do the Pacers really want to pay him and Miles Turner when you haven't had success being able to play them together? Or do you think it's time to move on from him and get something of value back that might be better fit for the future of this team as you try to make for deeper playoff pushes in the East?
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going to do, especially since they already gave Turner that extension, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Ricky, any final thoughts?
No.
Just in general.
I mean, the biggest ones were with the Celtics, and this is going to play into our predictions and our standings. I have no idea where I'm going to put them because I want to put them at the middle, but I also want to put them at the top.
All right. We're going to move on now into our 1 through 10. Hopefully it's less heated.
Boston Celtics aren't even going to play Jason Tatum at the 4. He's going to be at 3. Gordon Hayward's off the bench, and somebody else is going to start at the 4. We're all going to be wrong.
Aaron Bates. No, he's not even on the team.
Yeah.
He's on the Suns.